Hi everyone, today I'm going to be running down 10 things about being bisexual that you might not know. These are things that I experience in my life as a bisexual man. They're things that many of us bisexual people in the community face, and I'm excited to share them with you. So, check this video out. Hello, lovely people. Welcome to Not Defining. This is the place where we talk about sexuality, gender, relationships, self-confidence, mental health, and so much more, delving deep so that you can find the best version of yourself, whatever your definition or label is. So, without further ado, I'm talking about bisexuality today. The first thing about being bisexual is that I'm never sure if I'm bisexual. A fundamental part of being bisexual for so many of us is that we constantly question whether we actually are bi or we're actually something else. It's a common misconception that, we're all stable in our bisexual identity. Actually, we're not. So often, because of the way society sees us and the way society talks about sexuality, we often think that maybe we're gay and in denial, or maybe we're straight and we're doing it for attention, or maybe we're not queer enough, maybe we're not really bisexual, maybe we're something else, maybe it's a phase. We spend so much time trying to push against this and saying, we are bisexual, we are proud, we are sure in our identity, we're not confused. Actually, I'm really confused. I'm really confused a lot of the time. And you know what? That's okay. So if you are someone who you feel like you might be bi, but you're not quite sure, that is so bi. You are so biculture right now, okay? We are confused, and that is okay. Thing number 2 about being bisexual. I'm going to give a shout out to the bisexual women here, okay? A lot of the time people say, oh, well, it's really easy for bi women to be bisexual because, men think that it's hot and, bisexual men get a lot of flack. Those things are true. But actually, bisexual women, just like women in every part of society, suffer from higher rates of discrimination, higher rates of poor mental health, higher rates of abuse and other negative impacts of being bisexual. Okay, so unfortunately, though I wish it didn't, misogyny and inequality exists within the LGBT community and within the bi community. So women, bisexual women, I love you. Thank you for existing. We are all a family and you deserve to feel safe. So never think that life is easy for bisexual women. The next thing is that for me and for many of us, when we are attracted to different genders, in our sexuality, it often changes the way that we feel about our own gender or our own gender expression. So for example, when I'm attracted to the feminine, I actually feel often quite masculine. And there's the connection. Whereas when I am attracted more to the masculine at certain times, sometimes I can actually connect more with my feminine. This used to really confuse me because I was like, well, what am I inside? Now I have come to really honor that and to actually enjoy playing with it. Sometimes I like to flirt with men, sometimes I like to flirt with women, and I like to kind of play on different gender expressions within myself. That is really what Not Defining as a channel is all about. It's about understanding the different kind of compartments and bits of you so that you can really enjoy being your most authentic self. If that is of interest to you, then please hit the subscribe button. I mentor people to help them reach their best potential, and I'd love to have you part of our Not Defining family. The fourth thing is that bisexual people are nervous around everyone. We are so nervous around everyone because we could be attracted to anyone at any time. So if you are straight or gay, there's obviously that gender that you see as a romantic or a sexual interest. Yeah. And then the other gender, or the other genders, are kind of safe genders. So if you're a straight woman, you might feel a bit nervous or a bit kind of awkward or a bit kind of funny around guys, especially if they're attractive. But then you can go and hang out with your girlfriends and you can feel really safe. You can kind of chat about things, you can kind of feel really open, and you can just like have that girl friend group. Bi people do not have that. We are never safe or secure around anyone. So that's the thing. Bisexual people, we might be awkward and nervous around you. We're sorry, it's just who we are. The other kind of offshoot of this is that often bi people will have very kind of interesting platonic relationships. So for example, I might have a friendship with a guy, but it may have a very strong bromance to it. And there may be some like affection there. There may be some intimacy there. Yeah, because we don't have that line between strictly platonic and strictly romantic. With girls as well, I've had so many experiences where it's like, I'm friends with you, but also you're hot and like I could be attracted to you. Even relationships, we're in a relationship together, but we're really like mates as well. Like we're really, really strong friends. And there's that kind of friend zone thing, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It just is what bisexual people are like. There's not this delineation between romantic and platonic. So that's the thing. Number 6, my bisexuality took me a long time to accept. And for many of us, it takes a long time for us to come out. That's because bisexuality isn't as accepted as other identities. So if you see a bi person, maybe in a queer space, and they're a little nervous and they're a little kind of shy, just give some love to them, because a lot of the time it takes us like a lot to really accept ourselves in our queerness, and we'd really appreciate if you made us feel like we belong. The next thing is that there is a real connection between the bi spectrum and the asexual spectrum, and the kind of aromantic spectrum. What does this mean? Well, for example, not all of us are attracted to all genders all of the time in all different ways. So, for example, you might be heterosexual and hetero-romantic, okay? And you might also be bi-romantic, but you might not be bisexual, yeah? So you're attracted to a different sex in all ways. You're attracted to the same sex romantically, but not sexually. Yeah? You might also be the other way around. You might just be bisexual, but not biromantic. Yeah? Or you might be hetero-aromantic and biromantic. Yeah? So like, there's this real kind of overlap. There's also things like demisexual. So you might, for example, be attracted to the same sex in all ways, but with a different sex or the opposite sex, you kind of have a bit of sexual attraction, but like not much. And maybe you have to form like a very close bond before you can feel that. And then there's things like gray sexual, where you just really have a low sexual attraction in general. You might be gray towards one gender or another. And there are other things like phrasexual, where like you will get with someone of the same sex, but then like your attraction will just like completely disappear randomly after you've engaged in that relationship. And there's all kind of, basically there's lots of different identities on those spectrums which can interlink. Okay, so if you are experiencing that kind of variety, check out the asexual spectrum, the aromantic spectrum, because there's lots of terms that might help you kind of communicate who you are. Also, click subscribe because I'm going to be talking about the ace spectrum, the aromantic spectrum, a lot on this channel. The next thing is, we talk a lot in the bi community about the fact that bi people can be monogamous, and that is definitely true. There is nothing about bisexuality that means we can't have a committed monogamous relationship. However, we mustn't let that erase the fact that actually many bi people are polyamorous or can have different open relationships or, you know, different relationship styles. You know, sometimes that's okay. And actually, the most important thing I would always say is, you know, don't think about it in terms of labels and am I this and am I that. Just kind of like look at yourself and be like, what would my perfect life be? What would my perfect relationship be? Okay, sometimes bi people, we don't fit into the confines of hetero or homonormative relationship styles. And that's okay. Okay, so if you want to find out more about polyamory, I've got a video on it here. The next one, which is one of my favorite ones, is this flag. The bi flag is so cool. I love the bi flag. I cannot tell you how much I love this flag, okay? First of all the pride flags, I think it's the sexiest. Look at that fuchsia, purple, kind of royal blue. Oh, it just works so well. Yeah, it represents kind of feminine, masculine, and then just everything else in between. There are a lot of flags which the members of those communities will actually admit are horrendous, but I love these colors. The great thing about this flag, the best thing is, people don't tend to know what the bi flag is unless they know. Okay, so I wear, for example, this little band. I wear it to work, I wear it everywhere I go. People don't know what it is unless they're bi or unless they're, you know, a real ally or kind of something like that. And so it's like this secret little symbol, but you won't get flack from, you know, homophobes, queerphobes and everything like that because people just don't know what it is. So that is number 9. The bi flag is amazing and I love it. Finally, the last thing about being bisexual that I wanted to share is that, oh my gosh, please let me know in the comments if you have like guy days, girl days, both days, none days. Yeah, what I mean by this is like sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so into guys today, and I can't stop thinking about guys. Other days I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so into girls today, and I will go out and every girl that walks past will be like, wow, you know. And then there'll be other days where I'm not really interested in anyone. They're like my asexual days. It's like I can't understand why people are sexually attracted to anyone at all. I just lose it. My favorite day is when I have a pure bisexual day. And that is where I am just so unbelievably attracted to everyone. I will go around, I will see guys, I will see girls, I will see non-binary trans people, I will see all kinds of people, and I will be like, just marry me. So that's the way it works. Sometimes there's more of one, sometimes there's more of the other, sometimes there's none, and sometimes when I'm lucky, there's everyone. So tell me what you think. Do you relate with any of these things? If you can share this video, then I would be so grateful. It helps us out so much. Let's get the visibility out there and tell me your experiences. How do you experience being bisexual? I'd love to know. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, and I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.